for energy bills after shelling out for solar panels or insulation for your home, which seems a bit of a waste if you don't intend to stay put for at least 10 years.
So today the government's unveiled a new type of loan to pay for this expensive green technology. You don't borrow the money personally, the loan is attached to the house instead. Matt Prodger has the details.
Welcome to EcoBuild, the green industry's answer to the ideal home show. On display here, every possible state-of-the-art technology for making your home greener. What better place then for the government to launch its new green loan scheme called Pay As You Save.
You're going to be able to have eco-improvements to your house, saving you money on your energy bills, with no upfront cost because the private sector and others will fund it. And the repayment will be spread over a long period of time attached to the house.
The trouble with eco-houses like this one, designed by students from Nottingham University, is that they have to be built from scratch, whereas most of us are stuck with the houses we've already got. And given that we may be moving in 5 years' time, why would we invest up to £10,000 in solar panels, for example? So what the new scheme does is tie a green loan for solar panels to the property, not the owner. Therefore, when you sell it, the new occupants will carry on paying off the loan.
Energy efficiency is cost effective over the long term, but people think that they're going to move home before they realise the full benefits of that energy efficiency work. Pay As You Save enables them to spread the costs over time, and the most important point of all, it means they save money on their energy bills even after making a form of repayment on their home.
But already there are murmurs of discontent. The National Association of Estate Agents, for example, says that it will be more difficult to sell homes with thousands of pounds of green loans outstanding against them. Among those at EcoBuild, it is, perhaps unsurprisingly, considered a good idea.
We have to encourage sustainable initiatives, and that has to start from home and also work through the sort of commercial and private sector as well as obviously the public sector. So I think encouragement of sustainable initiatives at every level is essential, really.
I think it's a great idea because it might actually get people motivated enough to actually go and do something about insulation and energy savings, but at the same time I do feel there's a lot of announcements being made at the moment that are just sort of pre-election, and whether or not it's actually going to work and people are going to take it up is another question.
Homes account for a quarter of the UK's emissions, and the government, Labour or Conservative, is signed up to cutting them by a third by 2020. That means winning over homeowners and persuading them it's worth the investment.
Well, Marion Spain is the Director of Strategy at the Energy Saving Trust and joins us now. Marion, you've been involved in the pilots for this scheme, haven't you? What's been involved in that?
Absolutely, yes. What we know is that one of the things that puts people off doing work to their home to make it energy efficient is the upfront cost. The small things we can all do now that cost just a few £100s and are often subsidised by your council or your energy company. But if we want people to make their homes more efficient, we know we're talking about a few £1,000s. We know from the 3 million people a year that we give advice to that that's a worry. They understand it'll pay back in the long term, but they're worried about taking the loan on now. What the Pay As You Save scheme does is it allows that loan to be paid back against the energy bill, so you don't pay back more than you're saving. We're doing some pilots in 5 areas across the country. The first 20 people have just signed up. The work is happening in the first few homes since Christmas. And what they're saying to us is they're very keen to do it. They're very keen to be able to pay the money back slowly, but actually they've been worried about what if they sell the house? Will they have to keep paying the debt when they're not benefiting? So that's why we're very pleased that the government today are going to put in place a measure to help with that problem.
But what about this point, that it may make it more difficult to sell a home? If you're selling a property with this loan attached, it's going to look less attractive than a home which doesn't have a loan attached to it.
It is still a new concept. You know, things like solar panels, more and more people are having them, and super insulation, but it is still something we're not all used to. I often quote an estate agent who talked to me a few weeks ago about what happened when central heating first came into the market. It wasn't something we had. It was something people are nervous about, but it very quickly became something you couldn't sell a home without central heating.
It's not the technology that we're talking about, people being nervous about. It's the loan that's attached to the property.
Absolutely. But of course, at the moment, if you buy a house, you take on a mortgage to buy the fabric of the house. You understand how that works. You understand what happens when you sell and what happens to the debt. And I think it's something that people will come to understand more. I think what people will see is when they buy a new house, an old house with these new technologies on it, when they move to a home, they will continue to benefit from the technology. Solar hot water, for example, means you get almost free hot water for a large proportion of the year. So people will see that and understand that the payment they're making isn't going to cost them more than the savings they'll make on their bill.
Now, what if someone doesn't want to take out one of these loans? What are other ways that people could become more cost efficient or energy efficient with their homes?
Well, as I say, there's lots of things people can do without a big capital outlay. There's still 13,000 homes out there that haven't got enough loft insulation, and that's something a lot of people could do as a DIY job at the weekend. There are grants available. The Energy Saving Trust has all of that information available, can help people understand what they can do. And the other important thing is when you're buying new products, lots of people are going to be buying new televisions for the World Cup this summer. I know my husband's keen to. So really need to look for the most energy efficient product on the market. Look for the one with the A rating and look for the one with the energy saving label, because that will save you money as you use that television.
OK, Marion, thank you very much.